Welcome to the Tom Bernard Show minus Tom Bernard again, but with Andy Brant Bernard.
Alex Brant Bernard.
And Kristen Burt.
Just like Wednesday's show.
Was that when it last was? Was it Wednesday?
Yeah, because you were gone
that long ago.
You were gone Thursday, Friday. I was gone Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're back.
Gosh.
3 years.
I haven't seen Tom in ages then. It was almost a week by the time I've seen him.
Yeah.
It will be a week, actually, because Tuesday was the last time I saw him. That's incredible.
Yeah, tomorrow will be a full week.
Crazy.
They were going to be on, and then they decided to fly early they flew out insanely early in lieu of insanely late.
Okay.
So, I mean, insanely late for them, I guess,
I will say it's smarter to fly early anyway, less delays and more likely to reach your destination on the date you want to.
It depends on who you are, too. Because, I've flown at 6 a.m. before. It did not go well for me. I can't sleep on planes, though, at all.
I can, yeah.
No,
I fall asleep.
Me.
I'm out. Oftentimes I'm out before we even take off. I'm one of those annoying people.
And you don't take anything?
Nothing.
You're not one of those trazodone load ups before the flight?
Nope. I think it's just the motion of taxiing, even to take off. It falls me right to sleep. My mom said as a baby, she would just throw me in the car if she couldn't get me to sleep.
That's a lot of babies, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ethan was like that. And Colin's like that.
I have had a friend in college that anytime we'd get in the car, she would just kind of rest her head and close her eye. It could be driving 5 minutes. It could be driving. We drove to Chicago once. She slept almost the entire time.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I was like, this is a special skill.
Yeah.
It's nice. You know what it is too for me? My phone is off. No one's contacting me. There is something probably about my nervous system. It probably doesn't say anything good about where I'm at, but there's the fact that I can just completely let go and just fall asleep. I love that.
Yeah. When Ethan was a baby, he did that thing where if we were moving, he'd be asleep. But if you stopped for 1 second, he would wake up.
Oh, no.
So when we got to red lights, I would just creep forward at 1 mile per hour, and that was enough to keep him asleep. So, yeah, he loved being in the motionful car.
Oh, yeah,
but
you can't stop. Yeah.
We learned the other day that he got something from me. He got motion sickness from me.
Oh, Fawn has motion sickness from me. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She can't read in the car, and she can't go in the car on an empty stomach.
Yeah, I was talking to Melissa on the phone. She was in the car. Ethan was in the back. And then all of a sudden I hear what sounds like Ethan throwing up. And I'm like, what's that? And then she's like, I gotta go. Bye.
Oh dear.
He was playing on his tablet in the car, and he was playing some sort of high motion game. And that's just like me. If I try to play a handheld game in the car, I get sick right away. Reading, I can do a little bit, maybe a couple minutes, but if I try to play a video game in the car, instant sickness.
I can't read anything, and I can't go in the car unless I'm driving.
Well, when I say read,
stomach.
I mean I could look something up on. I could read an email quick, not like a book or something. There was no way.
Yeah, I know. I have friends that can just we're gonna go drive for 2 hours. I'll bring my book.
I know, that must be nice. Wouldn't it be great?
Yeah, that's me. I have an iron stomach, so I won't get sick like
Not me.
But obviously this is genetic, you two.
Clearly, because our kids. Well, Sage doesn't yet.
Sage doesn't. Well, so far.
Yeah.
No, but Fawn's had it. She's had it for a while.
I don't think it hit me until I was probably 8-ish.
I don't remember.
I don't know. When did the R Zone come out? I remember playing that in the car. 95. So yeah, I was probably 9 or 10 when I started getting sick in the car. In other news, congratulations to Officer Dave.
Why?
He is now a grandpa.
Oh, that's nice. Congratulations, Officer Dave.
Yep. He's got a new baby.
Girl, boy, name?
A boy. I don't know if he wants us to say the name, but he's in the chat, so he'll tell me. I don't want to give away too much information. I got the name and I got the weight.
Okay.
The insider info, just in case that's public knowledge now.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah, everyone's saying congrats in the chat now. But while we wait for his response, Kristen Burt Entertainment News is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And apparently there is some entertainment news today.
There is a lot. Yeah. We were just doing a little chat ahead of the show and just talking about, if anyone followed yesterday, and it was kind of late yesterday, Donald Trump dropped something on Truth Social, which he likes to do. He just kind of like dropped some things like, this is what I'm going to do. But I will tell you that no one in Hollywood had any idea that this was his plan. And I'm talking about studio heads or anyone else that would be making major decisions. And he just talked about how the movie industry in America is dying, and other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States, which we have talked about a lot here on the Tom Bernard Show.
That is a thing, sure.
We definitely know that. So that has not been a surprise. So he said, and I will use his words, not mine. He said, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on all and any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again.
No more Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
And, as a blanket statement, we want to have more film and TV shows produced here in the United States. There's no argument there whatsoever. But there's some logistics to some of this, and the real basics of it is location, because if you have an American film, like an American in Paris, all of a sudden, because you filmed that in Paris, that gets a 100% tariff. So that would be, let's say it's a $10 million budget. Now it has a $10 million tariff.
Yep.
That basic math 101 is not sustainable as a business model, period.
What?
Well, I think the idea isn't to make it sustainable. I think it's to make it stop. Like, you're just basically not allowed to produce outside of the country anymore, because you don't do 100% tariff without basically saying I'm killing this industry.
Right. And it will kill the industry right off the bat if you do it that way, because then you can't film anywhere but the 50 states and Puerto Rico and things like that. So a couple of reactions that just in discussion that how Hollywood is really reacting to all of this. Everyone's kind of in a panic. The studio heads will all be meeting with Donald Trump probably within the next week about this. But not only does it impact the business model for film, it greatly impacts the streamers, because their model, especially if you look at something like Netflix, is to produce locally. So we're getting like a lot of like Korean dramas and Korean game shows, and then exploit it globally so that we see it all over the world. And that's also vice versa, is taking some US shows and bringing them to foreign markets, because if there are retaliatory tariffs on this, again, the business model completely explodes in Hollywood.
Well, yeah, God, China's got to be a bigger market than the US at this point for some movies.
Yes, and China has already started to restrict US film because they do want their own film market to flourish. So we've been about halved. So only about 50% of American films are now allowed in China, which has hurt our economy in terms of, making money off of, let's just say, Mission Impossible or something like that. So, but what it also does, and we're talking about big blockbusters with huge budgets, but it makes low budget and like mid-level productions completely, you can't do it. You just can't do it. You can't film if you need to film overseas or anything else like that. The budget will be completely blown. And that of course affects jobs. So you come back to that. But one other thing that's kind of an interesting side note to all of this, if you remember, and I don't know, Alex, if you were here for this, but Andy, I know you were, somewhere like right before the inauguration, Donald Trump said, I'm having 3 Hollywood ambassadors. Didn't talk to them about it. They found out about it in the media, but Jon Voight, Sylvester Stallone, and Mel Gibson were going to be the ambassadors to Hollywood to make, bring production back to California. Jon Voight is actually taking it seriously. And he does have an idea that could possibly work, that maybe would be something in between all of this. And that would be, Jon Voight's been meeting with a lot of the representatives for the unions, just seeing what they feel and, testing the temperature. He wants a federal tax incentive to be the main component for keeping film here in the US.
That would make more sense.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to stop production overseas in terms of, again, if you need, like, we're not going to say I need to film a movie in Egypt because it's an Egyptian centered film and I'm going to build it on a Hollywood lot, because we expect realism in 2025.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's like there are some stories that you just can't tell without leaving America. Or it's like you can tell them, but like you said, they'd be cheesy. It's like, when they go to Egypt in the movies in like the 70s, it's like, okay, come on. This is like a sandbox with some plastic camels in it.
Right. And if this, I don't think we should be filming American game shows in Ireland. That I will 100% agree with that. Let's find a way to bring them back here to the Fox lot, because Fox is the one that's doing all of them.
That's the thing is, though, he could mean 100% produced overseas. Like, they have to be at least somewhat produced in America.
He hasn't
or he could not mean that. There's no way to know at the moment.
Right. There's no way to know because there's no plan in place right now. There was no details of like, it's okay if you're filming an American in Paris and you film in Paris, but it's by an American film company. There's no boundaries that have been established on this. And that's why studio heads are going to have to meet with Donald Trump to ask what that means. But again, with tariffs, understand that if this, let's just say hypothetically that this gets enacted, guess what? It's going to be passed on to you at the box office. It's going to be passed on to you in terms of subscription prices for streaming, because that's at some point they just pass the additional funds onto us to pay.
So a small soda is going to go from $18 to $36. Is that what
that is correct? Your movie ticket would probably double in price. Your streaming services would be very expensive. And I think for a lot of people, they would just go, you know what? I don't need to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Most
people don't anyway.
Yeah. Even if we didn't have kids, I mean, we might see one movie a year tops. I don't know. There's not, well, for one, streaming makes it so easy to just watch movies. And like, I don't know, the idea of, oh, this movie's going to come out in 6 months, get hyped for it, that kind of thing. It's just not it's not who we are. So, there's that's been a thing forever, especially like the Spielberg blockbusters. People they were anticipating them for months or years in advance, and then everyone would go see it in the theaters. And I've just never really been like that. I'm happy to wait a few months until it's on video and then watch it or whatever. So, and I think a lot of people are like that now. I don't think there's really insane hype around much these days.
I think that there's a couple of films that definitely warrant a trip to the theater. Like for me, Wicked was definitely a theatrical event. I think Avatar, because of the way James Cameron crafts his movies, if you're excited about Avatar, that would be a movie you would go to the theater for because of the sound, the picture, the quality. You want to see in IMAX, all of that. But a comedy, no, you can wait. And the window's short now. It's only 45 days. It used to be months and months and months. So that's also the other thing with the 45-day window. I can wait 45 days for most film.
Little sidebar: Officer Dave's grandson is named Benjamin.
Oh, cute.
Benjamin. 8 pounds 5 ounces. Is that big? I don't know.
No, it's pretty average. Maybe a little bit big.
I've heard my own baby's weights many times. I cannot remember them.
Yes. Most babies weigh between 7 and 8 pounds.
No. There you go.
Typically, under 7 is small, and over 8.5 is big.
Yeah, I think if you had a 9-pound baby, that feels big.
Sage was 10.
Sage was 10?
Tiny Sage was 10.
Melissa looked it
up. I know, you
have
tiny babies. Your kids are very lean.
Very small people. But yes, Sage was gigantic.
Ethan is giving Sage pajamas because he is too big for them.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because Ethan is like a concrete
chunky man
brick kid, and Sage is like a narrow bird boned kid.
Yeah, what is the age difference between Ethan and Sage?
Like 4 years.
Sage is about to turn 7 and Ethan's 3.
3.5, yeah.
That's insane.
Sage is twice Ethan's age, but Ethan is too big for pajamas that will fit on Sage.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yep.
But I mean, it is just like the tightness, really, because they're like, are they 7 T's?
6.
6 T's. They're 6 T's, but they're slim fit or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just can't squeeze into them.
Yeah. Like my nephew, I have a nephew that is about to turn 7, and I think he weighs 72 pounds. But it's just like his bones.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Your bone structure matters.
Yeah, he's just like a sturdy human being.
Yep.
He's super active. He does soccer and gymnastics and all this stuff, but he's just made of concrete.
Apparently you can, if you measure your wrist, because there's no fat on your wrist.
Yeah.
So that's how you can tell what your bone structure is.
Yeah.
Like how your frame is.
Yeah.
And Melissa, her result was medium heavy, and mine was pretty low on the light.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah,
little
we
scared.
and then we got that from mom, because dad
Yeah.
would definitely be on like the higher end. All the Bernards would be.
Yes. Yeah.
But for some reason, we got Brant
We did.
build.
We did.
And your kids did, and I guess mine didn't.
No. Well,
we don't know about Colin.
Colin is a mystery.
Colin is still very,
Colin's
very small.
a mystery to everybody.
Yep.
He's just so small.
Tiny, tiny child.
He is.
Yep.
Anyway.
Charlie wants to know if you have any scoop on the Kentucky Derby.
The Derby.
The Kentucky Derby.
Do you
Well,
care
Kentucky
about
is
the Kentucky
too-
Derby?
I mean, I think the big news was like Mike Tirico yesterday. He wasn't on, he was, a huge part of NBC's broadcast. And then they're like, he's not feeling well, but he'll be back later. And then it turns out he had a peanut allergy and he didn't bring his EpiPen, and he's okay. He's okay.
Here, that's scary.
I know.
Ugh.
And the thing is, you have to remember, Mike Tirico is kind of the heart of NBC Sports right now, too.
Mm.
He is your Olympics guy, and you have NBC investing heavily in sports. They've got the NBA coming on Peacock. Like, they are building a sports empire around Peacock. And you can probably think, well, the Olympics are every 4 years, but remember, they're really every 2, because we've got the 2026 Olympics for winter sports coming up.
Yeah.
So huge investment. And after they did gangbusters. They did so well over the Summer Olympics last summer, I guess. Gosh, it's crazy. It's been about a year, but they're hoping to have that same sort of impact with the Winter Olympics.
Are the Winter Olympics overall as watched as Summer Olympics?
I believe the Summer Olympics have more premier sports in terms of swimming, track and field, and gymnastics. Those 3 sports can basically carry the whole Olympic cycle, honestly. And I, even speaking from living in Los Angeles, looking at the venues that they're putting, gymnastics and swimming and track and field, they're in all of like the nice, big, huge venues here in Los Angeles.
Summer Olympics average around 3 billion worldwide viewers. Winter 1.9.
Yep.
Yeah, I figure. I was
summer
say,
is like 50% more
because
popular.
I can't think of any summer. Because I mean, like, the skiing people seem to
figure skating.
I'd say figure skating is probably the highest.
Well, however, there is
the most excited winter sport.
The Summer Olympics has 32 sports, 329 different events. The Winter Olympics, only 15 sports with 116 different events. So it has a third as many events as the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
So
but I feel like they're just not as anticipated.
Yeah, people care about like the running and the cycling and all that stuff, the swimming. But like with winter, it's like skiing, I guess.
But people don't even really care. It's like figure skating, like Kristen said.
Figure skating is.
And we've got a big Alyssa Liu, who is an American figure skater, she just won the Worlds. She's a big front runner right now for the gold in 2026. And we haven't really seen anyone like that since Michelle Kwan. And you're going back to early 2000s for all of that, even late 90s with Michelle Kwan. So I think that we're going to see that pretty highly anticipated. And, I also feel like we don't have the snowboarders as much. Like, who are the snowboarders?
Like Shaun White's gone. So now it's like,
he's retired. Who is it? Exactly. And
so
who are the big skiers?
Winter sports. Of the top 5, 2 are skiing and 2 are skating.
There you go.
And 1 is bobsledding.
I'll say, and then ever since Cool Runnings came out, people love
bobsledding.
Jamaica, we got a bobsled team.
And do we have like a skier as famous as like a Lindsey Vonn?
Yeah. I can't think of anybody that like. Dan loves the Winter Olympics because he's a cross country skier, and
Mr.
so
Winter,
he knows a lot about the male and female cross country skiers and all their distances and all the blah blah blah. Like, he's really into it, but I understand that he lives in a bubble. So
he's Mr. White Christmas. He's Mr. Snow.
He is. He sure is. And so in our life, the cross country skiing is very anticipated, but I feel like most people don't watch that.
Right.
So
I'd be curious to like see if we have any other emerging stars. I'm sure we'll start to see them in the next few months because sponsors will start pushing these athletes on us, for the Lees and the Nikes. Yeah. All of those. Yeah.
Yep. I know. I love the Olympics. It's fun.
I do too. There's something about it, and I always love that like one underdog that comes out of nowhere, whether they win the gold or not, they just like win your heart. It's to me, it reminds me of Steven Nedorozic, who was the pommel horse guy from the Summer Olympics. You know, what he was only brought for one event. He's the guy that wears glasses. He was the last athlete up on the American team with the last event. You know, are they going to clutch the bronze medal or not? Like, all of that was really fun to watch.
All right, we have to take a break.
Okay.
And then we'll return with talking about the Summer Olympics instead.
Great.
Who's the best runner in the whole world?
Well,
we'll find out in about 2 minutes.
From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hand for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Let's talk about Tom's Bank, North American Banking Company. Look, it's easy to feel like just another account number at the big national banks, but that's not how it works with my friends at North American Banking Company. Whether you're visiting their locations in Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove, you'll always find real people who know you by name and actually care about your finances, not some AI chatbot. They also offer all the modern conveniences you expect, like online and mobile banking, but with a personal touch that only a community bank can offer. So why settle for less when you can bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Visit nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I believe in the kingdom come, then all the colors will bleed into one.
We have returned.
Woohoo.
Do we actually care about the Summer Olympics?
I care about the Summer Olympics, but they're not happening again until 2028.
Yeah.
That's true. We just had them, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. And it's, LA has got a long way to go before we are ready. I'm not going to lie about that. Our infrastructure is great. What? I'm sorry.
They're going to be in LA next.
They are in Los Angeles.
How far out do they broadcast that or what? Forecast that?
Usually, I think at least 8 years, maybe 10.
Huh.
But a place like Los Angeles, we have the infrastructure in terms of venues. So that's never an issue. Like, we don't have to build anything, which is oftentimes one of the big issues when a city takes on the Olympics. They have to build a stadium or anything else like that. We've got SoFi, we've got the Forum, like we have plenty of places. But it's not just Los Angeles. Honestly, it should be called the Southern California Olympics, because they're extending from Los Angeles down through San Diego and Oklahoma. Oklahoma, because we did not have a proper softball stadium, and that is where the Softball Hall of Fame and stadium is. And we could have built one, but it doesn't make financial sense. So
building an entire stadium for one event, that's what people used to do, and that's how cities got like hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. Yeah.
Right.
Really
so
bad.
You have that. And I think some of the canoeing events are also going to be in Oklahoma because they have the infrastructure as well.
In other news, Louisville Joe, as he calls himself now, gave us a...
Okay.
So the last winner of the Powerball, $167 million. He was from Kentucky. He just got arrested in Florida for kicking a cop in the head.
Sure.
I feel like if you have $167 million, why are you interacting with the police at all?
Why are you angry?
Yeah. Why are we upset?
Yeah. What do you have to worry about at
Maybe
that point?
he used all that money to buy meth.
I mean, honestly, you wonder.
Statistically, we usually see lotto winners go broke. It's crazy.
I don't know how. The math doesn't make sense
because
to me.
You can't go from having because most people that play the Powerball don't have a ton of money.
They're paying it because they're desperate, because they're like, I need money to turn my life around.
And so
Mhm.
you can't go from having not very much money to having tons and tons and tons of money without any sort of financial like capability or know-how to do anything.
Oh, the story is even dumber than
Great.
Joe summarized.
Perfect.
He won the Powerball on Sunday,
Oh,
like last Sunday,
Okay.
and he kicked the cop in the head 3 days later.
well, that's dumb.
Well, it's just like be on your best behavior while you're on your way to pick up your
He was
$167
probably
million
like
dollars.
he probably went out and celebrated
He was
and got
probably, like-
super drunk,
yeah.
and then somebody called the cops on him,
Or had
and
a
then
manic episode or something.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, it happens with athletes all the time too. They sign these huge contracts,
Yep.
and they get all this money, and then they spend it all, and then are broke because they don't have. No one's telling them, "Oh, this is how you be financially responsible."
Winning numbers were 1, 12, 14, 18, 69.
No
boy.
way.
69, dudes.
Oh
There you go.
boy.
That tells you all you need to know.
Yes.
Someone who puts 69
Yes.
in their Powerball.
Yes.
Well,
we
and
know
they
the
tell
thing.
you, like, if you win the lotto, like, there are steps. If you're going to do this the right way,
Yeah.
they're like, hire a lawyer, hire a business manager. Like, they tell you, like, do all of this before
Financial
you even
advisor.
collect the money.
Yeah.
Yep,
A
exactly.
financial advisor.
Like
I mean,
Josh Arnold.
yeah, exactly. But it's just like people don't know how to, because they think, oh, I have $120 million. I never could
No.
spend that much.
Yes,
And
apparently
you sure can.
Well, and I've heard stories about Powerball winners, and basically, you're not supposed to tell anyone you won this money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There are states where you can keep yourself anonymous,
Mhm.
and it's because, I mean, as soon as the world knows you all have all this
Yeah.
money, you gain 5,000 cousins that you haven't
Yes.
spoken to in 20 years,
Yep.
and
And I would say
everyone-
now in 2025, you're a target for robbery. If you start like buying
Oh, yeah.
purses
Oh,
and
yeah.
cars.
For sure.
Yeah. At California, you cannot stay anonymous.
I think you should be able to stay anonymous in every state.
Yeah.
I feel like it is in 2025, it's a safety risk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is.
Well, because you can find people online.
Yeah,
You can find their addresses.
Yeah.
You can
Yep.
find where they work. You can find
Yeah.
everything about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anonymity should be number one for
Should be
people.
guaranteed, honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. That's scary. Well, best of luck to that man.
Or they should come up with, do you know the story about this? Like in the 80s, they would make horrible films and credit them to a fictional director. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Alan Smithy.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. They should
yeah.
have Alan Smithy for Powerball winners. Or maybe just use Alan Smithy. There you go. He won
Alan
the
U. Smithy.
Powerball.
Yeah, because that's a Hollywood term. I
Mhm.
think you can also do it on a screenwriting. You can use Alan Smithy if you
Yep.
don't want if you feel like too many people have doctored up the script and it's not the
Yeah.
initial script that you wrote. It can be
Mm.
Alan Smithy.
Yeah, so people who don't know what we're
Alan
talking
Smithy.
about, people like screenwriters or directors, they would make a movie, and if they felt like it didn't turn out the way they wanted, like, too much production team meddling or whatever, instead of crediting themselves, they would credit Alan Smithy because they didn't want their name associated with the end product.
Yeah, and if you Google like Alan Smithy films, you'll see some of them, like including Mighty Ducks the movie.
Huh.
Let's see. The first Face Off. So it looks like
Oh, is that actually
yeah,
the
it looks
first one?
animated. It's animated.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah. I suppose
Just
that makes sense.
people get upset. I
Yeah.
understand. If it's
Yeah.
not your original work, you're like, I just don't want my name on it. Because if it comes out trash, you're like,
Yeah.
No, they're still
not
nothing to do with
example of
this.
how I
they're still going. 2025, Alan Smithy got one. Thicker Than Blood, whatever that is.
Sure.
Desanctimonious, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Woke Mind Virus. He made that one.
Wow.
Eternally Twilight, an AI's Guide to the Twilight Saga. Why wouldn't people want their names on these things? I can't figure it
They
out.
all
I
sound-
don't know why.
Hamster Logic 3D, the video game.
For sure.
Ethan would love that. Are your kids still obsessed with the hamsters?
No.
No, they're over that now.
Yeah. I don't know. That was kind of like a COVID thing.
Oh yeah, no. Ethan is still loves the hamsters.
Yeah.
He wants to watch. We don't let him do it that often, especially because a lot of the hamster videos have all these annoying sound effects, and it's like
yes,
it's just
they do.
sensory overload at that
I was
point.
gonna say it's overstimulating.
Mhm.
Well, it's like some of them. There's one called Homura Ham.
Sure.
They don't use sound effects really. They have
Okay.
music, and it's just a hamster going through a maze. I
Yeah.
like that one.
Mhm.
But then there's the other ones. They literally, I've timed it. They play a sound effect every 3 seconds. Yeah, it's just constant sound effects.
That sounds terrible.
And graphics on the screen, and it's like, oh my god, this is so
Yeah,
annoying.
it's like, nope, just watch the hamster. Like,
Yep.
it doesn't need to be
Just
such
mute
an
it, maybe.
ordeal. True.
Yeah, there you go. Just watch the hamster.
Yeah.
That's all he cares about anyway.
Yes.
Mhm.
Hamsters are cute.
Alex, do you care about the Met Gala?
I do.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
tonight.
Yeah, I like seeing the outfits. Of
Yeah.
course.
Of course, I know.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Well, that red carpet will be starting in just a few hours. I think they start about 3:00 my time, so it'll be about 6 p.m. East
Okay,
Coast time.
wow. Early.
Yep. It is early, but looking forward to seeing all the crazy designs. Are you on tomorrow?
No,
Nope.
All right, we'll have to discuss it the
Wednesday.
next time you're on. Okay,
I'll be
I'll
on
see you
on
on Wednesday
Wednesday.
for sure.
Yeah. Fabulous. I'm
Because I know
excited.
Andy's like, Met Gala.
Yeah, I mean,
Does
I know
not
what it
care.
is. I mean, I know it's rich people in a building.
Pretty much. But it's just like the most exciting fashion event of the year.
Oh, it's a fashion thing. No wonder.
And it's a charity event for the Costume Institute
Yeah.
within the Met
Yeah.
in New York City. So if you ever go to the
Metropolitan
Metropolitan Museum, you can go into the Costume Institute and see
Which
incredible work.
is so amazing. I went
It
there. I've
really
been there
is. And
a
I'm
few times,
actually
and it's
glad that they do it because
Mhm.
it is such a great moneymaker for them to be able to keep everything on display. And
yeah.
All right, the
And-
Powerball winner story keeps thickening.
Okay.
Charlie in the chat was saying things that I thought was a joke, but it turns out to be real.
Great.
So his girlfriend is named Jacqueline Fightmaster,
Okay.
And his-
Okay.
and his mom is named Linda Grizzle. These are some very hillbilly names.
Yeah. What?
wow,
Fight
that is
Fight master.
special.
Well, that's definitely been changed.
Well, I know Fightmaster is a real last name because there's a famous, it's a sergeant, I think. His name is Max Fightmaster.
Well, he could have changed it.
I don't know.
Oh,
if
I'm
you're-
a sergeant and my name's Fightmaster.
I suppose that's true. But I mean, if your name is Fightmaster, you're going to join the army, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's your destiny.
Yeah.
preordained at that point. Or you're going to become a boxer or something. How has there been no MMA fighter named Fightmaster?
It is.
Like, I guess because
interesting.
it's like, if you don't live up to the name, then it's embarrassing. You know, Fightmaster gets KO'd in 10 seconds. You never live it down.
There's too many ways to spoof that name if you lose.
Exactly.
Yes.
You have to change your name if you lose. But if you win all your fights, then there you go. Now you're a legend forever. So I don't know. I think it might be worth it. Anyway, it looks like Kristen's
Yes,
got to go, and
Kristen's gotta
Bob is
go.
almost ready.
All
Fabulous.
right.
So we're gonna take a break, and we'll see. So Kristen, you will be on tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I'll see you all
Tom and
tomorrow.
Catherine will be
They
on
will be.
tomorrow, as far as I'm aware. So
Who knows?
You never know with those two.
who knows?
You
at
never
this
know.
point.
Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Bye.
You too. All right, we will take a break. We'll be right back with Bob.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold's do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Let me tell you about Tom's Bank, North American Banking Company. When it comes to banking, it's all about trust, and that's what you get with them. They've been around since 1998, and they've always made it clear they're here to give you a better banking experience with a focus on the local community. And you won't be dealing with some AI chatbot. You'll get straight answers and quick decisions from real people that know you and your situation and are always ready to help. So if you're tired of the big national banks and want something better, stop by and see my friends at North American Banking Company. Visit nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We are back. And it looks like Bob may be ready. What do you think?
Hello.
There he
How are
is.
you?
Hello.
We're good.
It's just us three.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew, but Tom and Catherine are not here today.
Really? So
Yes.
this is the new show. This
Yes.
is what it's supposed to debut in November of 2026, right?
Sneak peek show.
Yep, the 75th birthday show.
Yep.
So what are you guys going to call it?
We haven't really talked
I'm
about
like
that yet.
What's that?
Can't be the Tom Bernard show.
Yeah, it's apparently the family is
The other Bernard show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'd have to think about the thing about the family is it's not great SEO, search engine optimization. Alex, you know what SEO is.
I sure do. Dan used to work in
Yep.
SEO.
He worked in SEO. So it's like if you Google the family, you're
Yeah.
not going to find the podcast because
No.
it's such a vague term.
Yes.
So to like make up a new word. It's
Yes.
measles.
Well, you got to put it this way. You got a year and a half to figure it out.
Yeah, we
we've
got a while.
Plenty of
You
time.
got plenty of time.
And,
More
I
than that.
mean, arguably, we might have another 30 years to figure it out. So
Yeah.
Well,
Dan-
the one thing your dad has said in the past, he was going to retire,
he has.
and then he just kept going. Why not keep on going?
I mean, at a
Yep.
certain point, you kind of have to stop, don't you?
No, because Sid never stopped working. He lived to 100.
That is
Exactly.
I'm a believer if you stop working, things start to,
Yeah. And what's dad without his job?
That's very true.
An anxious mess.
Yep.
him without being on the air, that's not something people are used to.
Yeah,
And
I
he'd
mean,
be
he
bored
said
out of his
he said he might like go down to an hour a week or something like that, but that's just not enough.
No,
I don't
think
see
he
that
would be-
happening either.
And I think
He-
if at anything, we could set up like a system where he can just do like a one-man show. Like JB, apparently, his podcast is basically just him talking into a microphone.
Yeah.
I think Dad should do something like that once he retires.
JB generally has at least one guest on
Oh, does he?
for the entire show. Yeah, because I've been a guest, and he does have a guest.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, his description on his podcast, it says sometimes there's guests, but usually it's just me and a microphone or something like that.
Well, I got to be honest with you. Your dad is one of the few people who can just have a microphone and pull it off.
Yes.
I mean,
Rush
as long as-
Limbaugh could, and your dad could, and honestly, not many others can.
here,
That's
I
not
can-
easy to do.
I can do it. I'm Googling Fox News right now. Have you heard about
Yeah.
this? Have you
Yeah.
seen this? Trump welcomes
heard of
world
Fox
leader to the
News.
White House after making a 51st state pitch. Everything's about money these days.
There you go.
Money,
Well,
money, money.
Yeah, that's not going to
everybody's so
change.
selfish.
That is not going to. Oh,
Ugh.
look what we got.
What?
Bob's trying to sabotage me. He didn't send me the link.
Oh, Jesus.
Bob.
Well, here's a secret. The link
Saboteur.
does not change.
Oh,
So if you bookmark
you
it,
never told me that, Bob.
He
What?
probably didn't know.
He probably
I
didn't
send
know.
it to him every day too, or
Yeah.
every
Oh.
week. rather.
Just click the
And then
same
he
link.
sent
Well, I
it to
could-
me.
I don't have to worry about it's always the same because it never was before. So
No,
you've
it
made it
used
so
to
it's
be
the same
different.
one.
It used to be different, and now it's the same.
Oh.
We've streamlined
Very
the
nice.
process. Yep.
Hey, I don't know, but I'm looking jowly. I don't get it. Usually I'm a little
Jowly?
more sunken in.
Hmm.
So you'd rather be sallow or jowly?
I
guess
don't
He
so.
must
know.
be-
Oh, I got to tell you. My daughter does high school rodeo, so we're in Granite Falls. Closest movie theater was like 11 minutes away in Montevideo. You ever been to Montevideo?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
It's like it's not on the border.
Well, it isn't far from it. They got you have a dog behind you that's been
Hello.
Well,
bothering
that's
you.
okay. She wants to say hello.
But
Hello.
anyway, so I go to this theater. My daughter didn't want to go. I wanted to see Thunderbolts, which I had high hopes for, and they were not met. Too
What is
much of a
Thunderbolt?
Yeah.
too psychological, too many dimensions in it. But anyway,
Thunderbolt.
very nice theater.
It's
Nice
Marvel?
recliners. But I walk in and I tell a woman I want a seat. It's a young gal. I'd like to have one and my popcorn and a drink. So I look at the screen where the money registers in front of you. It says senior, and I said, "You automatically." No one's ever automatically given it to me, and I said, "Is it the gray hair, the craggy features, the shuffle with the hunched over look? What?" She never answered. She just looked at me and kind of smiled halfway. And then she's filling up the drink, and she had the drink, and she dumped a little out. I said, "Whoa! First of all, when you're a senior, you're going to have to pee during the show, no matter how much is in there. So just fill it to the top."
That's true.
So she did. And then when I was walking in, I go, "When the movie's over, I'll come out and tell you what I think, if I can remember it." So
Oh my gosh.
I had
Come out
fun
and
with that.
say,
She
"Where are
called
we?"
me a senior.
Hey,
look-
might
and
as well.
Mary-
I bet it was super fun for her too to be harassed by this old man.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds really pleasant.
Okay, I have looked like this, and Mary can attest since I was 35. Because
Well,
before
but
my
he
daughter
thinks-
Sam was born, let me finish. Play
Okay.
with your dog. Play with your annoying dog. But we're in a place we did foster care, and our first foster daughter was 13 at the time, and I was 35. So we go into this place in Southdale, a woman's clothing store, and I'm sitting there, and the woman goes, "Can I help you?" I said, "Well, I'm with those two." She goes, "I will let your daughter and granddaughter know that you're waiting."
Oh,
Yikes.
okay.
Yeah, she still gets a kick out of that one.
35.
That she laughs at.
You have basically looked the same since I've known you.
I
Yeah.
know. I
Yep.
haven't changed.
Yeah, some people are like that.
Good thing he's got such an amazing personality.
Well, the personality hasn't changed either, unfortunately.
It all remains the same.
So Thunderbolts, it looks like it's basically Marvel's answer to the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, I think, was better.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's some humor in it, which is great, but it's the whole dimensional shifting thing, and they got a little too psychological too. Yeah,
yeah.
and
they
the
need to
bad
stop
guy, they had a bad guy, because you actually feel bad for the bad guy because he's so screwed up.
Oh, it's
So
one of those. It's like
yeah,
he's
it didn't
not
work
he's
for
not
him.
bad. He's just broken, kind of things.
Yes, and I want to
Yeah.
go see The Accountant too now. That's the next thing on my list.
The Accountant. That sounds very boring.
No, it's not at all. Ben Affleck. He plays like a high. I mean, he's like, what would it be? High
Kind of like a
functioning.
cooler in the, assassin world kind
Not
of.
Asper. I don't know what it is he has, but he's incredible with numbers, but he
He's a
also
savant,
cannot
savant.
function in society.
I mean, yeah, he's an artistic savant, accountant,
Thank you.
and he
That's what it
launders
is.
Rain
money.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds basic. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. Rain Man was he high functioning? It's debatable.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah, because he couldn't like miss a TV show or he'd freak out.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
not great.
Well, I mean,
5 minutes to Wapner.
I suppose it depends. 'Cause
Yeah, how
as long as you watch a TV show, you're okay. Then
yeah,
I guess
mean,
you're
if
high
you, if you
functioning.
can hold down a job and take care of yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Just to be clear for the gal that worked there, and I do not need Depends.
Oh my gosh, Bob. Let it go.
Last time I went to a movie, I had I had a medium Coke, and half an hour later, I was like, I should not have gotten that medium Coke.
They go right through you.
Yeah,
it's
they
the
absolutely
caffeine.
do. Yep.
I can't.
Mary's
drink.
going to have to get up and pee now in about 2 minutes because
Yeah,
she just
just
took
took
a
a sip.
gulp
Yep.
There.
of a
Nope,
high
I
caffeine
won't.
drink.
I can hold it like no other.
Okay,
You're
yeah,
the one
okay.
that holds us up on the road trips.
I have to. I always have. I take Diet Pepsi with me because I don't want to fall asleep or get groggy. But yeah, I have to pull over and pee.
Yeah, that's me. I'm constantly going to the bathroom.
I
I don't
could
know what
drive
it is.
Yeah, but see,
across
you
the
women, it's
country and
different.
barely
It's a
stop.
woman versus man thing, I think.
So
It is.
Alex and
I
I
have
could
a
go on
friend
road
that-
trips and not have
Yeah.
to build in an extra 3 hours for bathroom breaks.
Exactly. I have a friend that
3
we go
hours.
out to dinner and she'll go to the bathroom 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
some
not
people are
that bad, but
just-
some people are just like that. Yeah.
Some people
Has
are.
she had a kid?
No.
Ah, see, I think that might be what it is. It like somehow trains your bladder to be stronger having a kid.
Well, pregnant women have to pee all the time,
But
which
then
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
when I was pregnant, I never had that.
But after they're pregnant, then they get the iron bladder.
My sister-in-law has to pee all the time.
Oh, well, never mind.
I think it's person to person
Yeah.
because,
Listen to a
it just depends. It just depends.
Speaking of
Depends.
Yeah.
But see, I have heard though, if you hold it too long, you could do damage to your kidneys. I don't want to
Well,
do damage.
You're supposed, if you feel the urge to go, you're supposed to go.
Thank you.
But sometimes people just don't feel the like
I'll be right back.
like
I did actually hold it once so long that by the time I tried to go, my bladder was like spasming and I couldn't go. Like,
Oh.
yeah,
it
you can
was
get like
painful.
a UTI and stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't even remember because I was like, why can't I go? And then I was like getting like cramps. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
That can't be good.
You're reabsorbing the
Well, I haven't used it,
Yuck.
but I bought one of those workman helpers. You know that you basically it's got a tube. They have men's and women's, but I got just the men's.
If you ever
It's a
use
big-
that in a vehicle when I'm with you, we're getting a divorce. I'm not kidding. You're not
Yeah,
gonna sit
something
there.
to keep in the back of my head.
oh dear.
It's a get out of jail free card,
Yeah.
such as it is.
Yeah.
We weighed the options last week when we decided to get a backup camera on our large horse trailer. It was like get a divorce or get a backup camera so that we're not fighting when we're trying to park it. and it was
Oh,
less complicated and cheaper to get the
I got
camera.
news for you. The backup camera helps not at all because if you're parking during the day, there's this incredible glare. You can't
Yeah,
even
it's
see.
true. You got to get like an anti-glare coating or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they must have like some like a
I also
a
thought
film.
I should have asked. I assumed. I thought it was one of those cameras where it shows the lines. You know, where like
Yep.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't
mine
have
has
the
that.
lines.
There's
Yep.
yellow lines and blue
Yes.
lines.
Mine does
Well,
that
here's
too.
what I have to do because a friend mentioned this, and I actually have a few in the trailer. I need to put cones out where I need to. So I need something to see because when you're just backing up and there's nothing to see,
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah, nothing
Is
to line
easy.
up with. Yeah.
or if I'm even going between trailers, I can make that work better. It's
Yeah,
when
I
it's just open spaces.
I refuse to back trailers or boats into any space. I'm like, nope, you do it.
I'm
Well,
okay.
ours is so
I
dang
will
long.
destroy it.
And I've looked into it yesterday and I haven't found the one. I want to go to one of these truck driver schools where you drive the 18-wheeler. I don't want the CDL. I don't even care if I pass the class. I just want to get more adept. I used to be able to do. We had a trailer that was not that big and it was not a big deal to park. This one is a beast.
I'm excellent at parking because I learned how to drive in a Ford F-250.
Oh yeah, I learned how to drive in
Parking
the
a
same
trailer
one.
or just
No,
parking?
just
No, just drive.
having
The
a
big truck.
giant
Yeah.
truck. Like I'm really great at parking
Yeah,
because I
driving an
learned how to.
F-250 at 17 years old in the Minnesota winter, it really teaches you some things.
Yeah. So I can parallel park like nobody's business. Because
Really?
I learned how
I
to
don't like parallel
park
parking.
in that.
Well, no one
You know what the
likes
key-
parallel parking.
Here's the key to parallel parking because I remember this from being in high school and it works. I actually am good at parallel parking. The trailer, not so much. But when
No,
you
you're
back
not.
up,
But go ahead.
you want the back of your window to be at the bumper of the car in front of you because then you start cutting in. And then it works every time.
You're not
Is that-
explaining it right. You pull
Yeah, I
up next to the car in front of you, and then you back up and you start turning when your rear view or when your mirror on your side gets level with the back of that car. Then you crank your wheel.
No,
Yes.
back of the window. Mary, we'll go to the school and I will parallel park because I got it all set up. I will parallel park in half the time it takes you to parallel park.
Really?
We're gonna have
Yes.
to,
So
And if-
are you going to
and
drive
if we
your
don't,
little?
if we don't, I'm
you're gonna drive your
divorcing
little
you.
baby
Throwing that
car.
around.
You're going to drive your little Barbie car, and then I'm going to drive the truck.
No, I'm going to drive the truck. You could drive
Anybody can
my,
park your Barbie car.
my VW diesel Jetta. That's a man's car. A man's car.
Jetta.
what
Look at
year
that.
is
Drinking
it?
that crap. She's going to have to pee and sushi finishes.
No, I won't.
How much
I'll be
caffeine is
bouncing
in
off
that
the
thing?
walls. It's a Red Bull.
Oh, dear.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Dad
my
used to
heart.
drink those 10-hour energies.
He
or what,
still
4
does.
hour- 4
5
Does
hour
he?
energy.
5
He
hour
still
energy.
does. I'm like, I would have a heart attack.
I tried one once and I did not feel good for
I would-
a long time.
I would, I
afterwards.
think, go into shock and die.
I
I
know.
don't know.
No,
He
they're-
drinks the
they're
extra
horrible.
strength ones.
You know, that's
When-
proof he has ADHD, right? Because if he can pound those down and it doesn't affect him,
No, you
So
actually.
much caffeine.
He drinks
So
so
I haven't-
much caffeine.
It
I've
makes
not
me
had
feel
one in
calmer.
years.
But I
When
have
we-
ADHD like real bad, and I can't drink caffeine at all.
Yeah, that's,
really?
I'm like that now. too.
Oh,
Like,
that-
I
makes
there
me-
goes that
It
theory.
makes me feel like my skeleton is going to shake out of my skin.
see, it used to make me feel sleepy, but now I can have
Me
like
too.
a soda a week, and that's
Yeah.
like my maximum.
I used to be able to drink caffeine totally fine because I worked at Caribou
Caribou,
in
yep.
high school, and I drank tons of caffeine, and it never affected me at all. And then I stopped drinking coffee for a few years after working
Oh,
there because
yeah.
I was like, I'm sick of it. And then in college, I started trying to drink it again, and I get so jittery, it's unpleasant.
Yeah, and then there's Dad. He's drinking like
I can't even
8
imagine.
Pepsis
Wow.
a day,
And 5 hour
plus
energies.
5-hour energies.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Why can't I sleep? I don't get it."
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have some coffee now to get the caffeine going.
I think Alex, it's because your body is so healthy because you actually make
Yeah.
way better choices than the rest of us.
You tried.
And I
Very
think caffeine
typical.
is like an intruder, like
Mhm.
going into this pristine, healthy
Mhm.
environment, and it shakes you up.
It could be.
Doesn't for
Well,
me.
and I'm like, I have tons. I don't need caffeine either. Like I wake up and I'm up. I'm good. Like I went to a dance competition this weekend. Fawn had a dance competition, and I got there and I was like singing something and like swaying side to side. And one of the moms was like, "Your energy is way too much for the rest of us right now."
Yeah.
They all had their like thermoses of coffee, and they're like, "We're all down here, and
Mhm.
you're up here." And I'm like, "Sorry, I'll tune
All right.
it down."
Alex, I got to
It's
ask
a
you:
healthy life.
Is this one of the really competitive ones where the opposing team will tie your tights in knots?
The Tiger
Oh,
Moms.
geez, Louise. Well, I try to stay as far away from those people as humanly possible. I constantly am like, I don't care what score you got or what place you got. Did you have a good time and work
I know,
hard?
sometimes it's like, man, I don't get it.
I don't know.
I do know that we need to
Oh.
take a break because we got 2 breaks left and we got 10 minutes left. So
Oh dear.
we're gonna have to speed run this thing.
Yes.
So we'll be right back after these messages.
For Brad, John Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant.
It's Andy for Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Memory Care Facilities are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care focused facility that has a full nursing team always staffed within the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. Wellshire of Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. Tom knows them personally, and they are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with Tom's friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com.
And the baby looks around him and shares his therapy with a
We return with Bob Sansevier Sports, such as it is, which is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers. Seeking justice for the injured, contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
All right, I'll give you some quick sports. Twins take 2 out of 3 from Boston. The Wolves play tomorrow night against the Warriors in here in Minneapolis. They probably will crush them because it's tough coming off a Game 7 like Golden State is. And Sovereignty. I love that name. If you look at all the names of Triple Crown winners, they all have really good, strong names. Their names aren't like Bill. They got great names, and every horse in that race was a descendant of Secretariat, which is an incredible statistic.
Every horse?
Everyone. So he is the greatest. He's the GOAT of all athletes.
Insane. He's the horse goat?
No, he's the goat. If you're not counting just humans. I mean, who is? You never hear about Michael Jordan having 12 descendants in a game.
Well, that's not how people work, Bob. That's not what we do.
Anything like that.
Very different.
Well, some of these athletes, not 10 kids, 9 wide, or 9 women. So
that's very
there
true.
are guys trying to populate the universe.
I was going to say there are some football and basketball players that could have teams of their children.
If they chose to.
Travis Henry.
There really aren't
guy,
very
I
many,
think it was 10 kids, 9 women.
There aren't very many sports legacies, are there? Like they exist, but they're pretty
like
rare.
Bronny.
Yeah, and it's like, is he even that great?
Not so far.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, how often does a great athlete have a great athlete kid?
Yeah.
Ken Griffey Jr. outdid his dad. They don't outdo the dad that often, but Barry Bonds outdid his dad, Bobby Bonds. But those are rare exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I feel like a lot of the time, it's like you don't want to feel like you're forcing your kid into doing what you did.
Horses don't care about that.
Yeah, like even Fawn with dance. I didn't talk to her about dance ever. I just was like, don't even acknowledge that dance exists. And she was the one that was like, I want to take dance classes. It was like, okay.
Tom from Fountain Inn says baseball has it more. Vlad and Vlad Jr. Who the hell?
Oh yeah, Guerrero, Vlad. Yeah, that's a good one.
I thought he was.
But I think Dad might have been a little better. No, maybe not. Than Vlad Jr. We don't know about Shohei Ohtani if his dad was any good in Japan. I didn't check that one out.
He was a Yakyu star.
Yeah, baseball happens more often than other sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I suppose that makes sense.
Well, all right. Good for what was his name? The horse?
Secretariat.
Secretariat.
No, the
No,
one
the
that
winner.
won.
Sovereignty.
Sovereignty.
Who beat a horse named journalism, and Trump was all excited
Oh,
because he likes the idea of
yes.
sovereignty
Yes, he
being, kicking journalism.
Sovereignty beat journalism.
Oh, well, here's this. Shohei Ohtani's mother was a national level badminton player.
Heck yes.
Oh.
Well, there you have it.
Good for her.
His father was an amateur baseball player. So I guess kind of legacy, not really. I don't know.
That
Okay.
family's got
Some of our
arms.
kids did. I mean, Mary had horses growing up, but we have one kid who does saddle bronc, another one college, another one who does barrel racing and pole weaving. We had another son who played rugby. And it's one of my big embarrassments in life. I was a sports columnist for what, 30, 40 years. He played 3 years of college rugby, and I still am not sure of all the rules. It's
I think
that's a tough
he-
sport to get behind.
But I think he picked a sport that you knew nothing about so that you could sideline coach
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go.
I wasn't sure where to
okay.
go. Good. Oh, well, hey. But I don't make noise and I don't yell
That's
when
good.
my kids have done sports.
You don't yell at the ref?
That's good.
A little bit with like Sienna when it's like, oh, when she screws something up.
When he makes the choice when she comes up. You're supposed to go around the barrel, not through it.
Not through it.
Some parents get way too involved in
Yeah,
their
I know.
children's sports success. It's like,
God, yeah.
my gosh.
One of the stories from when I was a kid, I remember, was it was like a pee-wee hockey game or something. I think these kids were like 8 years old. One of the dads beats another dad to death
Sure.
Oh my
Older.
God.
over the game.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna look it up.
I coached Sage's Pee-wee soccer 2 summers ago. So he was 5. And one of the dads was just like on the sidelines pacing and shouting. And his kids he had twin boys on the team and they would cry. The kids
my
would
God.
be crying during the game. I was like, this is 5-year-old like community ed soccer. Do we understand this?
Here's the closest for me. I'm at my son's kindergarten basketball game.
Oh dear.
And the woman who was the ref, she clearly played basketball. She was like 6 feet tall, but the kids are running, not even dribbling, running out of bounds, coming back in. And I started to say, the kid's not even in bounds and he's running with the ball. And I said, why? They're in kindergarten.
Does it
Yeah.
matter? Does it
They're just
really matter?
They're just having a good time.
Yeah,
Like they are
exactly.
not going to learn anything. They're just
Right.
having a good time. Like getting them,
And that's what
getting
I
them out
wanted
running
to
around is what matters.
Yeah, no, my mom, Saturday, we went to Wyzetta
Yes.
and we went to the library and she was like, oh, there's some board games over there. And I'm like, you think Ethan could play a board game to save his life? No.
No.
He does not care about rules at all at the
No.
moment.
I know the only little kid that I've ever known that cared about board games is Sage. And Sage, if
He's still
anybody
into board games.
ever is like, do you want to play this board game? Doesn't matter what it is. He's like, yes.
I remember playing board games when I was very young.
He's 6
And-
years old. And since 5, he's liked real Monopoly, like full
Wow.
Monopoly. I don't like full Monopoly.
Most
I'm like,
people-
I don't have time for
yeah.
that. No, thank you.
Well,
Loves
it's not that long of a game if you
Ugh.
follow all the rules. though.
Horrendous.
There's a lot of rules, but they're there for a reason.
I don't care about
free parking, the free parking money rule.
Yeah.
That makes games like 6 times longer than they need to be. It's a terrible rule, but
I
most
don't
people
even-
play with it.
I haven't played Monopoly in I don't even know how many years because I hate it so much.
I remember us playing it in Florida like 20 years ago.
Yeah, because we bought it because of Hurricane Ernesto that never
Yeah.
came.
And then, we all tried to play it and we didn't even get remotely close to finishing the game.
Because we're like, this is dumb.
Yep.
Well, we don't do board games with our kids, and we don't have them read. We just let them go on their own.
Yeah.
Occasionally we'll say,
about?
Free
"Whatever,
range kids.
put on your seatbelt.
They learn the law of the forest.
Free range kids.
We did, in
What a-
fact, play Monopoly but we would all fight all the time. And then
Mhm.
somebody would end up flipping the board over.
Well, the problem now is one of our kids is a banker, so he's
Oh.
You're just telling everybody you're doing it wrong.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
what's this week in sports? What's exciting? I know the Timberwolves are playing.
Timberwolves.
They're playing
They're playing the Golden State
Golden
Warriors
State Warriors tomorrow.
tomorrow night here in
Here.
Minneapolis. Well, we're not in Minneapolis, but yes, at Target Center.
Which is
So
in
that, I mean,
Minneapolis.
that's really the Twins have got a long season yet, but that's what's overriding what the Wolves do. And see, here's the thing. When they played the Lakers, virtually everyone in the media nationally, oh, the Lakers will win in 5. Well, they lost in 5. Now, many are picking the Wolves to win in 5, or maybe it'll go 6, but they're picking the Wolves. So I'm picking the Wolves too, which is the kiss of death.
Don't do that then.
Yeah, why? Don't pick them.
Pick everyone but the Wolves.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, they're gonna win big.
Okay. Now you've
here's the problem. Okay, this is the key for the Timberwolves. I'm still waiting for one of the teams, and we haven't seen it since the Twins won the World Series, 30-something years ago, is this team has to prove it can handle success. It is that next big step for a franchise to show you can handle success. And a lot of teams can't.
Yeah.
Because it happened, I think, last year in the NBA Western Conference Finals. I mean, they came off a big win here. If they start thinking, hey, we beat LeBron and Luka Doncic, now if we beat Steph Curry, these are two of the greatest players of all time. And it's more it's a lot of mental comes in when the farther you go as a team. And, Mary, we probably have seen our kids that could do much better psych themselves out and not handle the success they should have. I won't mention names.
Not going to point any fingers.
No, I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to point fingers to the other room.
Alex has to get out of here.
I do. I have to go.
11:30.
I have to go shape young minds.
Shape young minds.
All right.
We're going to take
Have
one
a good
more
day.
break.
Bye.
We'll take one more
Bye.
break.
Bye.
We'll come back sans Alex, and we'll wrap things up, and then maybe you can talk to Tom again one of these days. We'll find out.
You're fine. We don't need him.
We don't need
Bring
him.
your mom back, though.
Yes, I'll do my best there. All right, we will be right back.
Many car dealers try to create an extreme sense of urgency. Does anybody really buy it?
We gotta sell 100 cars by Saturday to get the boss off the roof. Or, you'll never see these rebates again. And oh yeah, your trade will never be worth more.
Really? I asked Jim Paul from Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Valley GMC in Hastings his thoughts.
I don't even know what to say. I hope folks are smarter than that.
Has there really ever been a time when it was urgent?
Probably not, but this tariff environment might be a first. Valley has several hundred pre-tariff units on the ground. Who knows what's going to happen with the tariffs, but these are really safe buys. Going forward, Valley's committed to make whatever the situation is as painless as possible, like we've always done.
Where can we find you then?
Get them pre-tariff. Hurry, hurry, hurry. When they're gone, they're gone. And man,
At a Valley store in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Certainly not on a roof.
You're listening to me. Your customers are listening to me, and they'll hear me or Tom promote your business. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support businesses they trust. Our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, and brand recognition. We're not just about ads, we're about results. Whether you're a local business or a national brand, we offer custom advertising packages designed to fit your unique needs and goals. And if you're interested, head on over to tombernardpodcast.com. Click on the Advertise With Us button, and you can get in contact with me directly. We will talk to you then. We're back with Bob and Mary. They were debating in the chat, how long have you two been together?
Go ahead. 1988.
I need a calculator. I don't remember.
We met in
How many years is that?
37 years then.
We met in Sweden when the Vikings played
that's
there.
right.
I was I was a beat writer for the Star Tribune, and she was a Vikings cheerleader. And it was like she was like a damn barnacle. I couldn't get rid of her.
Right.
Well, the 37-year relationship with Bob Sansevier and Mary Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers. So anything important that we need to talk about that we can't mention to Tom and Catherine?
We stay away from politics because that only gets people all riled up.
Yes, that is true.
And because your dad probably, it's best for him to stay away from politics, right?
Yes, but good luck there.
Good luck.
That's
Well, okay, let me ask you. So what time does the show go until?
Technically, whenever we want it to. We're scheduled till 45 after. Alex has to leave at 30 after, so she can go to her other job.
Okay.
But, I mean, technically, there's no set end time. It's just we tell people we're usually going to be on till 11:45ish. But going long.
So when you and her are doing the show in November of 2026, will you then just stop at 11:30 or 35 whenever has to go?
God only knows when we'd even start at that point. I mean, it
might be easy to do it anytime you want.
Might be easier to do it a little earlier, or even maybe an evening thing. I mean, we might not even have a studio at that point. I could make a studio in my house, and she could,
Oh, good. Yeah, you don't need to. You're right, because it's not that hard.
Exactly.
Well, you also now you could.
Look at me.
You
I'm sitting in
actually
a
could
chair.
do it. Well, you could do it whenever you want, and you could air it. Like the live studio audience, like all these late shows do, and then just run it whenever you want to run it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, a year and a half, a lot could happen. Maybe we'll replace ourselves with AI. You never know. Then I wouldn't have to wake up.
Well, is there a good app to use? Like if Mary's on her phone, I guess StreamYard's about the best, right? Which is what you use.
For this purpose, I think StreamYard is the gold standard for this sort of thing. I mean, you can
how do I sound when I'm on? I'm like, because I never know where I'll be. And I'm on my phone. Like, I don't know how other people hear it or anything.
The mic quality is good, but you're clearly not in a studio, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way, because I'm not going through, or am I? Am I going through my mixer?
Bob's in a studio, but
I'm not going through my mixer. I'm going through now. Is it coming through any different now than it was a few seconds ago?
Yes,
it's exactly this. It's
you're louder. That's it.
Well, I'm talking into the microphone through the mixer, so I don't know if that's even picking up though.
I think, I can tell the difference.
Then next time I'll do it that way, because I can hear everything just fine.
But when it comes to audio quality, the number one thing there is going to be the room that you're in. The more soft surfaces, the better. But like, if you're in a really good room with great acoustics, you could talk into a phone. You'll sound almost as good as a mic.
You know what? For people that want to do it now, Andy, do you have an iPhone?
I have an iPad.
Okay. Well, iPhones now, if you get to the 18, like their whatever version or software they have, up in this is for all people who do have it, in the upper left corner, when you make a phone call, there'll be something that pops up, and you hit that, and you could record it. And I have Mary do an interview for my show on Thursdays with Ruth Lorden, the psychic.
Yeah.
It is like HD quality. It's incredible what they've done.
It's crazy how things, like cameras on phones these days, indistinguishable from high quality DSLRs even 10 years ago.
It's amazing what they've done, and thankfully they've done it, because it's just I don't feel when I travel, I do bring I just have a microphone that I just plug into a short piece, but it plugs into that. Yep. And I just run it into. I don't even bring a mixer with me anymore. Yeah, which I used to do, and it gets by great. And then if I do an interview, I do it by phone.
Yeah, technology these days, everything is very, very accessible. That's what I'll say. It used to be, because when we started the podcast 13 almost years ago at this point, I mean, the amount of tech that we had to put into it, and we're still using most of it. I can see it right over here at this little rack that we've had since the very beginning. It was probably, I don't know, like a $3,000-$4,000 investment to start a high quality podcast. And now you literally plug a mic into an iPhone, you're pretty much good most of the time.
Well, the only problem with that is, though, like when I use the microphone, I cannot get good. You have to put your phone up against the microphone. It doesn't sound good. You're better off just using your phone to interview. There's no way around that.
Well, you can plug the phone into a board, but it's such a pain in the ass.
The board, yes. But I'm not traveling with a board. What I'm saying is when I'm not here, but I used to bring, I brought a monstrosity when I traveled. It was in a case. It was, if you can see.
I don't know if do you remember we were at the state fair like 10 years ago or something? It was a long time ago. I don't know. Were you there when we broadcast from the state fair?
I don't think
so.
Yes,
I remember hauling the suitcases with the wheels and stuff with everything.
Yeah, I lent Sam when my daughter was doing it with Wrong About Everything with Amy Koch and Brian McDaniel. I lent them my equipment.
Yeah, you have to wheel a giant dolly worth of equipment over there and set it all up in the blazing summer heat. And then once you're done, you have to take it all apart, put it back. It was such a pain.
Yeah, I've done some remotes for the BS show, and I haven't done one in years, mainly because of how much work it is to get everything.
It's a lot of work
out.
still. Yeah, if you want it to sound, for some reason, outside just doesn't sound that good.
Well, because of acoustics. I mean,
Well, and the wind, there's always some kind of wind.
Mm-hmm.
The studio I have in Wayzata, when I first went in there, it didn't echo, but it just was too resonant.
Yep.
You got to deaden it in, putting up stuff.
Well, you put panels up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Like on
panels are
walls.
good, but also bookshelves absorb, and so do a lot of big framed movie posters absorb.
That's
There's
true.
a lot. I mean, you just want to have a lot of stuff to absorb it.
And so if anyone in our audience is thinking about making a podcast, there's your hot tips from me, Bob, and Mary.
Yeah,
You can't help
gotta,
but the sparkling personalities,
Mm-hmm.
and the
you got to deaden it.
witty.
No, the sounds, personalities are meaningless. The sound is key.
That's honestly, have you heard some of these top-rated podcasts? You're not wrong. As long as you got good audio quality, and especially I found that audiences respond to like way too much compression where you can hear the mics breathe because they think it sounds professional. You get that going. You get that going, there you go. Successful podcast.
Yeah, no, I just I can't listen to anything that I always tell people, because I've produced podcasts for others, and they all think they got to do an hour or more. And I say, here's the question I ask them: what is your favorite sitcom? Now, whatever it is, Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory, whatever, they're 22 minutes long.
Yep.
I said, don't you think if Seinfeld can make an entertaining show in 22 minutes, you really shouldn't be pushing for an hour?
Yeah, the more scripted the podcast, the shorter it should be. Because it's like, there's really not a lot of topics out there that you can write a script about that takes an hour and a half to go through.
No, the key to me is and I tell them that is, leave the listeners wanting more, not like, when the hell is this guy going to be done?
Exactly.
So anyway, that's another tip.
Yeah, that's the
Mary,
other
you got to
thing,
say something. I see your lips moving, but
I'm fine. Nope, I'm fine.
She's just listening to the
I'm listening to all the good advice.
professionals.
She's taking notes.
No, I was. Well, they've done a lot of research on it and like attention spans. It's different if you're going to a movie that's 2 hours or whatever. But if you're going about your day, you're in your car. How often everybody's listening to podcasts in their car these days. How often are you in your car longer than 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah, not often.
Or you might listen to half and then half later.
Yeah,
Andy, I got to tell you, today it's Cinco de Mayo, but it's a red letter day for me because Mary said, I'm listening to the good points and I made a few of them. She has never complimented.
I was talking about Andy, actually.
Yep. Just me, no one else.
Too late, Mary. Too late.
That is one thing,
whatever.
though, is if you look at the bigger podcasts, most of them are relatively short, roughly an hour-ish. But a lot of people have been asking this podcast to go longer. And I'm like, I don't know. What are we even going to talk about?
You're an hour and a half, right?
Hour and a half
an hour
is
and 45.
Good amount of content, I would think.
No, I mean, my show is, I do, the BS show is 46 minutes, and I leave the other 14 minutes for radio. I told you this last week.
Yeah.
For the radio stations to put their own content in. And that's 46. You could fit a lot in 46 minutes. I do 4 segments.
Yeah,
You know,
we
with
did
commercials.
Kristen for the first half hour. We talked about the Met Gala. We talked about the Olympics. We talked about these. There's new tariffs on films that are being produced overseas that people are panicking about.
On films too?
Films.
Really? I didn't know that.
So what Trump tweeted? What do you call it when you put something on Truth Social? He truthed? He socialed?
The truth.
Huh.
He truthed. He
truthed
truthed.
it.
He truthed all over the place. What he said was that there's going to be 100% tariffs on films produced overseas. Now, what that means, no one knows, because that could mean like one of the examples that we talked about was like, okay, what if you have a movie where it's like 2 people meet in New York City and then they go on vacation to, Germany. So you film on location in Germany for 10 minutes and then you come back here. Does that count? Or does it have to be 100% in Germany to count? Because if it's the former, that makes things a lot harder because, sometimes you need that authenticity. You need to, if you're going to go to, Zimbabwe, good luck making Zimbabwe on a soundstage. You really have to go there to make it look real.
He has got to mean when it's done in like a British movie coming over.
I think that must be what he means, but we don't know until he clarifies. But it's 100% tariff, which means double the price. Yeah, so he's basically saying, if you're a foreign production company, get the hell out of America at that point.
Well, what that means is, though, because the movie theaters, they've already established their prices. So who's going to pay that? There might be fewer films coming over unless they're really good.
Well, that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah, they're just going to stop sending them over. And that's the other thing is he said that it has to do with like propaganda. It's like, a Chinese made film. He doesn't want them coming over because they might talk about the CCP or whatever.
Okay,
I don't know.
Honestly, how many Chinese movies have you watched that are subtitled?
Zero.
I can't remember anything. Maybe a action movie or two out of Hong Kong, but I don't remember.
I was never really into like karate movies and that kind of thing, martial arts films. Was the Mulan remake made in China or by the Chinese?
Oh, well,
it doesn't look like it was.
It might have been.
Huh, I wonder actually, because that's like the most Chinese movie I've watched in recent memory.
Then again, it could have all been done here.
That very
New
well.
Zealand. It was primarily filmed in New Zealand.
What was?
Mulan movie. Well, that's the 98 one, the most recent one.
Well, 98 one was a cartoon.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the one that's not okay. Mulan.
Yeah, there was a 2020 remake of Mulan. Yeah. Let's see, filming. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. New Zealand and China.
New Zealand. Yep. The live action in both.
There you go. So it was filmed in China, at least partially. So there you go. So I don't know.
Mulan 3 is going to be pricey.
Yeah, Mulan 3. I mean, they did make a sequel to the Mulan cartoon. So, hey, why not, right?
Exactly. Now, I got a quick question before you wrap up.
Yes.
When I was looking at stuff, am I still on the screen or do I disappear when I go to
No, we can still see it.
Okay.
Your camera pans and follows you, so you should have put pants on.
Okay, what I shouldn't do is like going knuckle deep.
Are you using an iPad?
No, I'm using my
that's
computer.
interesting because iPad does that following thing. We actually had to.
It does?
Yeah,
I was kidding. Oh.
No, we did FaceTime so Ethan and Colin could talk to Nana and Bop Bop a few days ago. And it kept like zooming in on one of them. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? Because they couldn't see both kids at the same time. And it turns out that's like a thing that FaceTime does. So I don't know. Maybe your camera is, because it is kind of like, it does look like it's like doing this like soft pan kind of thing every so often.
Mine?
Yeah. Every so often. Is it going to follow you? What do you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah, if you watch the background.
Maybe you've just been touching it.
Not me.
Not you. I think it's a FaceTime thing. I don't know.
I'll have to watch that next because I FaceTime our kids once in a while.
Yeah. If you swipe down from the top right, you get the control panel or whatever. It's called Center Stage. That's what.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks for the tip. Another tip.
I know we got all the tech knowledge coming through this podcast. That's what happens when Tom's not on it. We can talk about technology. He's not a fan.
All right, we need to let you wrap up because it's 11:48 already.
That's what I have to do. I got nothing, but it sounds like the dogs might be getting anxious anyway.
All right, Andy, it was great chatting with you. Can't wait till November 2026.
November 2026. It's, I don't know. One of those things about having kids is every day feels like an eternity, but then every year feels like a day.
Yes.
I don't know how that works. It's like, how can days drag, but then years go by in an instant?
Why? Yeah.
It makes no sense at all. But yeah, I guess November 2026, it'll be here before we know it. But next week, Tom and Catherine should be here. So you should.
Oh, you're both doing it all week?
No, but you're not going to be here.
No, but I know, but you're doing it all week is what I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying the next time you get to talk to Tom.
I'm sorry. They're going to be back on tomorrow.
Yes, they're going to be back on tomorrow. They should be back on tomorrow, barring, I don't know, the flight delay or something. But yeah. So, yeah, we can see if your predictions about the Wild are correct at that point. Or when do they actually start?
Tomorrow night.
They start tomorrow night.
The second round series starts tomorrow night.
Okay, so we'll see.
Which is not much turnaround for Golden State.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough for them. All right.
Well,
Andy, have a great week. We'll see you later.
You too.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Bye. All right. That wraps up the show more or less. But before we go, I should mention if you're looking for some merch, Tom Bernard podcast merch, I'm going there right now so I can guide you through the pod process. I can't talk when there's no one else on the stream. It's too much pressure. TomBernardPodcast.com. Click on the merch tab. You can get pretty much anything your heart desires. You can get a suitcase. You can get a hoodie. You can get water bottle. You can get the famous IQ 92 hat. You can even get a license plate, a vanity plate, but not if you're in Minnesota. But still, there's places that you can get a front plate like that. And we could use some more listeners outside of Minnesota, even though all we talk about is Minnesota stuff. It's folksy. People like folksy, right? And another reminder, we are on YouTube. Not a lot of people know that. I mean, it is basically just a bunch of talking heads. But if you're into talking heads, we got you covered. Go to YouTube, search for, let me see. I'm going to do it right now. Tom Bernard Podcast. Does it work? It does work. So there you go. Search for Tom Bernard Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. Check out our website. Get some merch. What else? Anything else? I don't think so. So Tom and Catherine should be back tomorrow. Normal show once more. But until then, see you later.
Every time I get to see it, reminds me how you talking.